I was born in a house across the street there on Union City Boulevard. It's not there anymore, but I was born there, across by the bank. It was a two-story house. In fact, it was downstairs was the shoe shop. Yeah. Grandpa's folks had a shoe shop down there.
Okay.
And I was born upstairs, and the next was my aunt and uncle lived. He had a saloon, and they lived behind the saloon. So we used to go there all the time, and he had the nicest root beer. He'd always treat us. He had a barrel root beer.
You guys used to go to Santa Cruz when you were...
Yeah.
Did you go to Santa Cruz when you were younger, before we were around?
Yes.
And
Yeah.
they had a
There's
roller
something we
coaster
went
then?
once in a while.
There's
Yeah.
pictures in there.
There, and
Yeah.
then, of course, Tia and Tio, they always went to Santa Cruz because the Portuguese people from Fresno, that's where they would come and have their vacation. So they used to meet people there, and they liked going to Santa Cruz.
What were their names?
My
Tia and Tia.
Rose and Manuel and Rose Silva.
Oh.
He's the one that had the saloon.
Mhm.
They never had any children, so Al and I was sort of there.
Oh,
We used to, when we were small, we used to love to see her because she used to come down from the saloon over to our house over there, and she always brought us 5 cents. Well, I'd save it to go to run to the store to buy candy.
Which we
And-
did every Sunday. We got a dime every Sunday, and we went to the store every Sunday to get candy.
And then there was a store next door here. It was a grocery store. And of course, the man that owned it knew us. Of course, my mother would send us over there for something all the time. And he always gave us a candy. So we liked going there to the store. My mother and father always took us kids to the movies. And that was at the old Eagles Hall that was here. It's not there now. And there was one on the corner of Horner and Union City Boulevard. There was a little show house there, and we used to go. I think that one was first. No, it was this one. This one, because there were silent movies, and the man that owned it, and his wife used to play the piano.
oh, she did that?
Yeah, and there used to be a ballpark right there where the hall is now. And we used to go there every Sunday, just watch the ball game. And Aunt Mary and Aunt Lou used to have a car that went on next to the ballpark. And they would really scream and everything in there.
It caused a lot of problems because Bernie used to say that
Yeah.
Aunt Lou, that I don't know what happened, but they chased all the other people from the other team away.
You're a wild bunch.
They were a wild bunch.
Yeah,
That was Aunt Lou.
Yeah.
Oh, then after the ball game, most everybody, well, we did too, go down to Mrs. DeVilla's ice cream shop. We had ice cream.
So what was the name of your high school?
Washington.
Oh, you went to Washington?
Went to Washington. The bus would come and pick us up there and drop us off there.
So how many kids were in your graduating class?
90, I think. 90, 91. I can remember, the teacher that I remember the most was Mr. Gould, and he taught, what was it?
Is that Pop Gould?
Science. Yeah, Pop Gould. And I can remember I took biology from him. That's what he taught. And of course my name was, no, my brother's name, well, I might too. My last name was Rose. So his name was Elvin Rose. And then there was also a Joe Rose. And one day it happened to the kids, each one was on the side of me. It was a small class. And he says, "Oh, a rose between two thorns." I can still remember that, and that's a long time.
I remember you used to be over at the hall, because they would play there. Dad would play there at the hall.
The only thing that I did over there was during the Holy Ghost. You know, they used to make sopish in these big pots
Yeah, I
like
remember
that.
those huge pots.
And the people the next day had to go in and clean all those pots. And there was a lady that lived down here, and I used to go with her. She asked me if I would go. And we had to go clean those pots with the stuff. Oh, it was terrible. But they used to cook the sopish in those big pots.
And your brother was
My brother,
the
yeah.
one who would cook everything.
Yeah. In fact, they used his recipe for quite a few years.
So, Grandma, did you and the family have to do anything during the war? Like, I heard some people planted victory gardens, or they had to donate things, or...
Yeah, it was. I used to go down to the sugar mill.
This is during the
And
war.
we would watch. That was the air place there, where different people would take hours, an hour or so to watch for planes. And if we saw a plane, you'd phone in.
I mean, you did that with Bernie, I think.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, observer. What is it? Aircraft observer or something like that. Yeah, we had to watch airplanes.
Did you give you a badge?
Yeah, I think I did have one, or something that I wore. I should have it yet, I guess. I have something funny. The day I brought Karen home from the hospital, my mother went out there and to pick the baby up out of the car, and she did. And Lauren was there crying his eyes. Where's mine?
Where's my baby?
I just don't remember
No,
that.
because you said, "Here's my baby," and he said, "Where's my baby?"
Oh, so you got one.
I used to love to dance. My friend Eleanor, well, she was Azevedo after she married. Roderick was her maiden name. And her and I used to go to the dances at the Swiss Park. Her father would take us one week, and then my father would take us and go and pick us up. And until we got old enough to come home with somebody else.
Did they have dance cards where you sign your name?
Yeah,
to-
yeah. I can remember that.
What's a dance card?
There, what's that?
What is a dance card?
Well, they somebody will want the next dance or something, or the second or third dance, and they'll write their name on it. And
So to dance with
then you
somebody.
dance with that person.
Okay.
So how many different people do you end up dancing with?
Well, quite a few.
Shocking.
So how did you meet Grandpa? Like, were you neighbors, or how did you
Well,
meet?
I always knew him because they moved in next to my aunt and the saloon there. You know, the uncle was the head of the saloon, and they owned that house and they rented it to them. And so I more or less always knew him. But then as I get older, then of course I never met him too much. I mean, I went to high school and all, and it was after that that he used to pass in a car, and then he would wave at me. Oh, and then I know he was friends with my brother, Al, and they lived across the street from the sugar mill at that time. And I used to go over and visit with Isabel, and that's how I met him. He played in a band, and they always played usually on Saturday night, and it was over in Sunnyvale. And my brother was playing the drums at that time, and we'd all go together, and I went, and then his brother's wife went too. So that's how I happened to meet him there.
So it was in Sunnyvale where you actually
Sunnyvale.
met him?
Mhm. Billy's Cafe. I don't know if it's still there yet.
I doubt it.
Yes.
We can go look.
In those days, they played till 2 o'clock in the mornings,
Yeah.
and then they always had to have something to eat afterwards. Well, gosh, we didn't get home till about 4.
Grandma let you go at 4 o'clock? I find that one hard to believe.
Yes. How did that happen?
She didn't let me out very young. Yeah, because I didn't. In those days, they had everybody, my friends that were married, would go from the church over to the hall and have a big party. But Dad didn't want, and I didn't either. He didn't care for that, and neither did Grandma or Papa, or didn't want to do anything there. So we were married 9 o'clock in the morning. Then we went back and had breakfast, and then we left and went up to Crater Lake. Then we came down through to Tahoe. Well, that time, everybody was married in the church and went to the hall. I think we were the other ones who didn't do that.
Yeah.
My
You were the
mother made
rebels.
breakfast for us.
Yes. Everybody goes to the wedding.
Yeah,
Where's the
you are
food?
absolutely right. Nobody ever did that.
My mother's cooking us
So
our
she had
wedding
the
breakfast.
neighbors in, you know,
It is
back there,
crazy.
neighbor.
Only my grandma would do that.
So next to your
I cook
house,
breakfast.
a lady lived there. She came.
I make a like
You
we saw.
get married at 9 o'clock in the morning and I'll cook breakfast.
Yes. Just for you.
Just for you.
Nobody else.
Well, I will say that Dad didn't want. He didn't want. Oh no, he wasn't going to go to the hall.
He only played for all the other
Yes,
weddings.
I
He didn't
know.
care us being in one of those.
Yeah. That's the reason, I guess, he had enough of that. Yeah, he played for all the weddings around here.
Yeah.